Hey, this is Alex Rome, and this is how to make a modern house song. So I'm going to try my best to make an entire house song from scratch here. It's going to be a pretty basic structure, going to be a pretty basic track. This is for tutorial purposes only, but who knows, if what I make sounds really cool, I might end up mixing it, mastering it, and putting it on the internet. However, this video will not be centered around mixing really, or even mastering. This will be focused on the production from beginning to end and the structure. There will be some minor mixing I will do, but heavy mixing probably won't have a lot of time in this video to do that. So, as I said, I'm going to start from scratch. As you can see here, I have a couple layers just to give me an idea of what I want to go for. Because when you're making a house track, I think the best thing you can do is have an idea of what you're about to make and try not to wing it. Because when you wing a house track, they tend to sound winged. They tend to sound like the part of you that just threw something together hoping it would sound good. So a good idea is to plan your house track, have an idea of what you're going to make, and go ahead and fill in the blanks. So what I did so far is I planned my intro, which is going to be this length here. I planned the size of my short verse, or as we call it in house, a breakdown, which is right here. My breakdown's only going to be 8 bars, and that is because it's going to play into the build-up, which is right here, and then we will go into that nice drop. I don't start my house songs off with a kick, as you might hear on a lot of house songs and extended mixes and stuff like that, because I think you should make an extended mix if your actual song works. Otherwise, you're going to have this long extended intro to a even longer track that's not fun to listen to. So the chords that I'm going to mess around with today sound like this. I have a couple other layers here. I separated the bass line. Sounds like this. Of course, it's not really bass, it's just the bass line or the bass notes. I also have a driver here. It sounds like this. And that's all I have to start with, so let's get started. My reverb that I'm going to be working with is the 3-second long The Tomb preset, and I have that bust to 19. I also have it EQ'd, and that's going to be my primary reverb. Secondary reverbs, I'm going to use the Valhalla vintage reverb and make some cool stuff with that. So without further ado, let's get started. I am going to move fast through this, so pay attention. So my intro so far sounds like this. Nice. So now what I'm going to make is what's called a drone. I love drones. They're one of my favorite sounds in the world. And what this drone is going to do for me is allow me to fill the atmosphere up in places I need to fill the atmosphere up. I have a video how to make a drone as well. So this, it's going to sound like the driver I have in there right now. But watch this. Serum makes an excellent drone. So this is just going to be like an airy pad. Laying out a pad and adding a lot of reverb to it doesn't make an airy drone like this one does. And let's get some trem here. Just to get it kind of moving around. Sometimes that gets annoying, the movement, but let's just keep it how it is for now. We can handle that stuff later. I'm gonna cut this off. Let's get it really wide open here. Or not wide open, but somewhat open. I'm going to use some hi-hats to progress at bar 9. I have some hi-hats from Splice loaded into my EXS24 sampler. Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? There we... Wait. Hi-hat. Okay. I'm going to get some pumping here as well, some pumping action. Put this here, and one thing I like to do with hi-hats is spread them a little bit. Nicky Romero likes to use sample delay to do this. I don't like to use sample delay. I like this. I think the hi-hats move a little bit more, move a little bit nicer with chorus. Let's go ahead and add our reverb that I have bussed to 19. Let's make sure we get this reverb pumping like a nice housey pump. I'm going to use the Kickstart plugin by Nicky Romero. And of course, let's get a nice little clap. A really minor clap, not anything too strong here, because oh wait, you know what? Let's use Splice for this. I don't want anything strong yet. This is just like a nice calming build to the drop, as you would say. Let's save the drop for the hard claps. Come on, where's it at? Right here. Let's add absolute values here. Can't believe I'm having trouble placing this clap where it has to go. Alright, so now we have our clap here. And, of course, let's get that transient shining through with a little bit of compression. Nice. And let's get this bust to our reverb. So let's go ahead with a little bit of a emphasis on these chords as we progress. So these chords are really pretty. So anytime I have a really powerful instrument like these chords, I think these would be the most important part so far in this house song. I want to really emphasize them and make them sound special, you know, because we spend so much time trying to come up with these, and these chords, they actually did take me a while to come up with. So with that being said, what I'm going to try to do is just make them sound awesome. So let's go into Sylenth 1 and make some sort of chord that is a little heavier. Ooh, that is so pretty. Wow, that is beautiful. So anytime you have a sound like that, you just have to make it into something beautiful. You can't waste it. And what do we have here? The verse? The verse. Okay, so I'm gonna have to have a melody and kick come in there. I do want a kick. It is not going to be a drop yet, obviously. It's only going to be a verse. So the kick has to be subtle, just something subtle. So I have an unused EXS here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a kick from here. So let's go kick house. Oh yeah, I just got this one. This one's from a Vengeance pack. Vengeance doesn't remind me of the words subtle and calm. So let's see if this works. So that's going to be my key right there. The key of my kick is going to be right in this. Whoops. So as you can hear, the kick kind of overtakes the sub area. So what I'm going to do is use this little trick with Kickstart. They have something called short kick here, and it takes all of that useless area out of the kick that I don't need. So let's go ahead and layer this clap here. This is really something I would do in the mixing stage, finding like those extra sounds. I would do this in the mixing stage, but let's just do it now because it is fun layering claps. So when this comes in, we're gonna have one clap hit, and then the next clap is gonna have this nice quiet impact. It's gonna go kind of in the background. I want to make my own reverb to it. So let's go here and let's see if our reverb plugin will do that for us. If not, I'll have to add a different reverb plugin. It's not going to work for us. So I'm going to use Valhalla. The difference between Valhalla reverb and Space Designer's Valhalla is a more airy reverb, whereas Space Designer kind of puts you in a space. This one doesn't put me in a space, but it's really airy. And that's why I like it, because you can, for times you need an area reverb, it like totally comes in, does what you need it to do. go ahead with something like that. So we can get this, and I'm gonna have to make sure that that doesn't get too repetitive. So let's go with something like that, and let's go ahead and listen to our progression into that so far. Let's go ahead and throw some lead in there. So this is a house song, so this would be the breakdown. But if we were to kind of look at this in musical terms, it would be the verse. And so when I hear the word verse, obviously I think of vocals, but I want to have a vocalist right now. So what I have to do is make the vocals synthetically. So I'm going to use a synth to create for me what would otherwise be a vocal. So it's going to be like a singing lead. Let's just make something that reminds me of house, something bendy. And I'm going to come here and kind of filter modulate the attack of this sound. Alright, I'm going to have this bend with a slide, not a node. So that means I don't have to cross this over itself in order to achieve that slide. Let's close this up. I want to get some kind of emphasis on this last note, because anytime you can emphasize at least one part of the melody, you'll end up with something really cool and interesting to listen to. So that's kind of what we're going for here. So let's just throw some splice in there. We can always change these later. Let's get this. Don't need that. Let's get so this is a little big. You know what? I don't need something that big. Let's go. I have a small snare in my EXS that I've loaded up from Splice. I'm just gonna take the snare and I'm gonna do like a little pump. Let's throw that into the right ear. And our lonely little lead here. Let's throw some verb on that. And I'm also going to throw some delay on this, have it sort of sync into right ear and left ear. And as you can see, I'm not going to bust this delay because I want this delay to happen before the reverb. This way, when the reverb comes in, it'll add reverb to the delay. And let's cut this off so our delay sounds different than our lead. And I'm gonna layer this lead, and of course group these up together so I don't get lost in the layers. Let's go ahead and find a different sounding lead to complement here. And I want some kind of whistle on top. I think that'll sound really dope. So let's get some kind of... Oh wait, don't they have like a little whistler in here? It's called like whistler. Well, they got screamer, yell. I don't like the detune on that. I know I found a whistling lead before. I'll just make something that sort of sounds like a whistle. Like that. That's kind of like a whistle. Could you agree with me there? Let me know in the comments. Does it sound like a whistle? Nice. So now we have 3 leads. Let's smash them together with a compressor. Let's use something vintage. Alright, pretty tight. We have a little bit of a transient on here. Not really sure which one it is, but I really don't want to deal with it right now. But it just bugs me sometimes. You get these like hard transients and makes everything really hard to deal with. So I'm just going to soften them. So there we go. So now all I hear is the warmth from the compressor, which is really nice actually. I'm going to EQ these together. I want to like bend up. So kind of like bend up like that. Na na na. Let's bend up like this. So watch this. This is gonna be tight. So let's go. Let's bend this one up, see if we can even make it sound cool. Na, na, na. I got this in my head. I know what it sounds like in my head. Let's just see if it can sound cool. Ooh, that sounds tight. Ooh, ooh. Maybe we need some more, let's say, sustain. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. You gotta admit to me, that sounds hella tight. That sounds really cool. I'm really obsessed with this right now. Okay. Every time I do like a cool little trick like that, it's like, okay, let's throw a party, Alex. Nice. I love this. Let's go ahead and duplicate here. Alright, let's go ahead and kickstart these leads. And then we can go into a nice little build up and then hit a nice drop. And this drop, I have somewhat of an idea what I want to do. And let me just check my markers. Yeah. So I had the build planned to come in here and then the drop. So let's see what happens. For this build, I want to bring back in these cellos. And what I want to do is kind of go stagnant. So all these nice chords, let's get them gone. Something like that. Let's not do that. Let's do something like this. Bang and bang. So we're gonna go like this. And let's carry over this. And let's grab some kind of clap that's gonna go, you know, clap clap. Yeah, you gotta get the claps that go clap clap. That's what it's all about. So let's go. No, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking. What should I do here? Should I take? Let's take another one of these. Come on, what are you thinking, Alex? Oh yeah. Well, let's take this for now. So when I build build-ups, obviously you can see I go kind of nuts because I never know what to do. Like, I know what build-ups sound like, I never know how to build them. So let's go ahead, create some sort of Reese baseline here. Reese baselines save me. Anytime I don't know what to do, I'll throw in a Reese baseline, and it yeah, like I said, saves my life. So let's go ahead with this and cut it off. Alright, we have this. Let's go ahead, cut all the subs out of here because we don't need the subs. So what I'm thinking here is I get really crazy in the build up and then go empty in the drop. So only have like a bass line, a tiny chord in the middle, and then like a big lead on top. It'll sound similar to this. Whoa. That is a pitch modulation issue. So something happened with this pitch bend and it's taking it out on me. And I don't know what's wrong, actually. That's a weird one. let's do some claps here, because you can't go wrong with claps. Well, maybe we can get away with the snare too. I don't know. So this snare is not tuned, but that's okay, because we can tune it later in the mixing stage. So lately, when I've been making house songs, this has been my go-to for starting build-ups, which is abruptly starting the build-up. So let's go ahead with this. So just go right in with a strong snare, and it'll really assert your confidence. So let's go in. So let's go in with that kick. Where's that kick at? Oh, we can't use that kick. No. Oh, I didn't want that to happen. Alright, so what I'm going to do is... I can't. Shit. Alright, so what I'm going to do is bounce this kick out in its own thing. Okay, so I love when I paste and I don't know where it pasted. So let's try this again. Paste. There we go. Then we got this. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to bounce it. And what this will allow me to do is make a nice little kick roll, not have to worry about the other kick. Kick rolls are seriously aggressive, so use them wisely. That's what I say. So when you get something like that, it really, that's a lot of power. It means the kick to your track. So if you use it wisely in like a build-up or something, it really creates a lot of power. But you got to be careful with the frequencies too, because too much kick in the build-up could lead to a dull sounding drop, even if your drop sounds nice. So let's go ahead with something like this and something like this. And the reason I did that is because I want to go do something like that and then maybe something twice that. So something like that. So here's our kick roll. Not sure what just happened there with that snare. We get something like that. And then, of course, what's a kick roll without a nice what's it called? Resonance heavy filtering. So we grab that, and then what we can do is come to this. Oh, that's not a high cut. Go to a low cut and run a nice low cut filtering on it. So something like this. Like that. And then we'll get our curve tool, curve it out. So it'll literally go into nothing. Bang! So that kick just turned into like a tap. Alright, so let's do some transitions, because we have no transitions. And transitions are annoying to make, at least in my opinion, because they're really hard to get right sometimes. But they could also be the most fun things in the world. What the heck? Alright, I'm gonna have to do that pitch bend thing later. So let's go to bend range Z. And I'm gonna stop my kick here because we really want to introduce that build up. And let's go ahead and filter out this. Alright, so I'm going to filter this out. I'm going to throw a nice low cut filtering on it, right kind of where that kick stopped. And let's go ahead with the effects now. The effects are super important because you don't want to overdo effects, and you really don't want to overdo them. Wait, you don't want to overdo them and you don't want to underdo them. And I hear that done a lot, actually. The overdoing and underdoing of effects. So let's go ahead with a little bit of a sweep here. Let's see what I got it for risers. So I can make riser because I usually don't like pre-made risers because I think risers say a lot about what kind of song you have. So let's go ahead and throw that there, and that'll kind of be the exhaust. And let's go ahead and chop this here. White noise, I always recommend making it yourself when it's the mixing stage of your track. But if you're just making your track like I am right now, just getting the idea down, go ahead and throw anything in there as a placeholder. When I have white noise sweeps, I cut everything out of the useless part of them. Let's go into chorus and do something like this. Actually, now we can keep that there. I just had a second thought, as I always do with these parts of the track, because they are tough. They are tough. I don't care who you are, they are tough. Let's go ahead and throw this thing in there. I want to throw a kick, or not a kick, kind of a cymbal here. So let's go, what's this sound like? This will be alright for now. Let's second thought. What if we brought these in just kind of to fall over the build up, and then we went stagnant. Then we'll do our nice little build up there. I'm humming this away. So let's go, what if we had kind of a stagnant note come over? Because I want to go stagnant here. I don't want to stay too melodic because I know the drop's going to be melodic. So, Now what we'll do is we'll pitch this up as like kind of a pitch bend thing, but the pitch bend has been buggy today. And then we'll go, what if we went kind of broke this up and then did some sort of pitch bend? So now let's come into here, and hopefully this doesn't mess us up like it's been. This pitch bend thing, that's been odd. See, like it's starting me out in a weird... and do something like this. And get rid of that. We can use just a single one here. And I'm gonna have to close this back up, this filter here. So let's go something like that. So let's go snare, snare, snare. Snare, 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 snare. In triplets. Let's hit a nice triplet here. And then right in this part will be like that little like drum fill, like the whatever. I don't drum fills are one of those things that I really hate to make because I'm not good at them. I don't think I'm that good at them. So I kind of rely on being really creative, because the more creative I can be, the easier it is to make a simple drum fill rather than those really complex ones. So if you heard my newest track, Hearts on Fire, I actually used a clock ticking and some kind of bongos that I found on Splice, and it worked perfect, and all I used there was 2 samples. So go check out Hearts on Fire, it's on SoundCloud right now. So now let's go ahead and build this drop. I'm going to worry about that transition later, and I have a couple more risers to build, and I'm also going to worry about later. So without further ado, let's make the hardest part of the song, the drop, because if the drop doesn't sound good, your song's not going to sound good. And I'm going to use this kick, and I'm not going to change anything about it until later, because this kick is going to be my marker for volume. So this kick is this loud, and I know I have to build around that. So let's go ahead and start with a pluck. Let's do a nice pluck bass. I've been really into them lately, and I use Serum for these because Serum is quite the plugin to go for a really aggressive pluck. Let's go initialize preset, and let's do some basic filtering here. Do something like this. And let's grab our bass line here. So as you can see, I'm kind of developing a rhythm here, and I'm really gonna try not to fall away from that rhythm, because anytime your bass line loses its rhythm, everything just sounds spacey and doesn't sound that nice. You want this bass line to talk to itself. So we're gonna have like its call right here, bang bang, and then its response right here, bang bang bang. And we're gonna go bang bang, and then another triple. We're gonna go bang bang, and then a nice triple, bang bang bang. And then we can end the bass line with da na 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 na. Now that I listen to it, it sounds kind of weird. Original idea was better. So let's try that. This is probably gonna have to change, but that's okay. So let's go get a nice kickstart on there. Let's go ahead with a nice layer of that sub bass, and let's grab something like this. And for this one, I'm gonna have oh wow, anytime you get a bass line that just punches like that, that is really awesome. Sounds perfect already. Oh, that bass line is beautiful. So what I'm gonna do is layer up from here. I'm gonna low cut this high harmonic bass because our sub bass is nice and powerful, and I want not to take away from that. So we got something like that right now. I'm gonna layer this eventually into something more, something that'll glue it and the sub bass together. So I'm gonna take some kind of so let's jump up there. Let's do a nice step up. Let's do that, and then that, and then nice. So these, I'm going to spread these out and make them sound a little bit different than the bass line, because the bass line is the special bass line, and this is not the special bass line. This is the chords, which are kind of like a back burner thing. Feel me? Whoops. Let's go into here. Let's go ahead and grab a nice square on here, and I'm going to complement this saw with a square. This, I'm going to sample delay this into the left ear, which means the right ear is going to appear a little bit louder. So now we need that beautiful, beautiful lead. That lead is going to rest on top of everything. It's going to get some layers to make it sound juicy. So we have a lot of work to do to make this lead sound special. So let's go ahead and find a lead buried in Nexus 2 for now. And what this is going to allow me to do is decide on a reference. So I use sound banks as a reference because they are good sounds. And then once I find that reference sound, I will go back and change the sound to something more, more me. Instead of using somebody else's sound, I will go ahead and make my own sound. So I don't know Nexus 2 enough to go ahead and pick a cool sounding sound, so I'm just gonna fire away. Nah, I want something like a piano, like a dancey piano. Oh, won't that be cool? Yeah, wait a second, if I could pull this off, I might go from not that cool of a guy to pretty cool. So let me find this So what I'm doing is I'm going to follow this bass line like as perfectly as I can. Nice! Oh, wow. That actually sounds pretty glorious. Let's go ahead and layer this with something kind of like a piano slash super saw. I'm probably going to need both of those layers eventually, like a piano and a super saw. But let's go ahead and that is not a super saw, and neither is that. It's interesting. Let's go into hands up lead. I know where one sits here. Maybe trance leads will give me something that I like. Go back to I wonder if I can make this. It's like sticking out like a sore thumb. I know exactly what lead I'm gonna go for when it's time. I'm gonna go for that Mike Williams style, like kind of sounds like an accordion. So let's go ahead and add some reverb to these leads. Alright, and let's go ahead with a, whoops, I don't know why I did that, but let's go ahead with some kind of clap. This will sound cool, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw a bunch of claps, because I wanna, you know, gotta have a lot of claps. I need something like tighter though, I think. Right here, I want to throw some kind of like reverb effect, but we can always do that later. But for now, I gotta get these claps in. This will be like every other clap thing. I'm really gonna start moving fast from here because I want to get this done in one video. That'll be cool. Let's go ahead and try to get another clap in there. This one's going to be a little bit louder. And I know I used this clap earlier, but I'm going to do something different with it, I think. Not 100% sure, but I think. 1, 2, 3. Track stack these bad boys up, and then what I'm going to do, do that, and I want to come into here, do something like this. So we're gonna build up to this. Kick roll, drum roll. And then we go into it. Nice. Nice. Alright, so I'm gonna cut this camera out and try to find a lead that I agree more with, so I can really build this drop around it. So I'll see you in a second. Coming back into this, I added a couple things. I added the same transition I had in my last house song. Sounds like this. So then we're gonna go into the drop like that. So something like that, just like a happy, uplifting thing, but there still is another lead I'm going to try out, just not in this video. And then, of course, we're going to separate our drop into two by adding a little transition here, dropping the bass, and then we're going to grab that whistler lead and add our counter melody, because we should always, you know, spice up the second half of the drop a little more than the first half of the drop. So let's go ahead with this. Let's just call it whisk, because I'm starting to accumulate layers here. Anytime I accumulate layers, I have to keep track of them by naming them. Can you see where I'm going with this? I'm going somewhere cool with this. It's gonna sound cool. There we go. And then we can always throw in a nice hi-hat. So let's go ahead, let's throw in the same hi-hat that I had earlier. I like this hi-hat. It's like kind of dark sounding, but you can do really cool things with it, like spread it. Everything sounds so nice spread. Let's go into this counter. Where's that counter at? It's counter melody. I didn't like how it restarted. Pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and break this up right here. We're gonna break this kick up here. We're going to stop the sub bass here and just have the pluck bass. Then we can go like a nice like a nice down sub there. But that's all mixing. So my idea so far sounds like this. Cool. So obviously with mixing everything we have here, it'll sound much better, like way better. But we're not there yet. We still gotta get our idea down, because what's the point of mixing a shitty idea, you know? I have no idea if this idea sounds like shit. I really don't. I mean, I can only hear what I hear. Mixing will tell me what everything here sounds like in like a better sound, you know? That's kind of like what mixing is. It displays this idea. This idea is not displayed right now. It's kind of just thrown down there. So what mixing will do, it'll allow this idea to sound as good as it could possibly sound. And then, you know, you as an artist, if that idea isn't strong after it's mixed, and there's not much you can do besides redo the whole thing, then just trash the song and start over and take what you learned from this. So if I was going to continue this song, I'd do something similar to this. I'd take the entire project, restart it, and maybe come into here, have some way to get to this build without doing this section. So I'd actually drop this section here, which is the verse. So I'd do something like this. Delete, delete, delete. And get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of those. So then I would look at something like this and say, okay, well, what do I do from here? Well, I would obviously make this sound a little bit different, being that it's the second breakdown, and I can just add an instrument in there, maybe add a background pad or something, and do something along the lines of that. And then I gotta say, well, is this structure worth anything? Like, is this structure interesting to listen to? Another thing I have to do is get my mile marker here and say, how long is my song? So far it's almost 3 minutes, which is almost a full song. And this would be easy to go ahead and add an outro that's either 8 bars or 16 bars, and right there we have a full length song. I think the average song is 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So I really like to go for whatever's average as far as length, because I'm not really a special when it comes to making a special length track, because I'm really good at making a really short track and I struggle to get length sometimes. So the second drop, I would make it sound a bit different than the first, because our break melody sounds similar to our drop melody. Anytime your break melody sounds similar to the drop melody, you want to make your second drop sound a little bit different than the first drop. If I had different sounding melodies going on in the breaks, then I could have the same sounding second drop. But that's what I would say about that. So to make this song sound fuller, I'll give you everything that I would do. I would go ahead and enhance every single thing. Throw layers in there. I'd throw, see these transitions here that I threw in here and then I have right before the drop? I would like times 10 that amount of transition effects. I throw so many transition effects so that the entire track is just filled out with effects. Because effects are they really do make it special. They're like salt and pepper over your idea. And without them, it's like literally eating food without any salt or pepper. It works, but it's not special, you know? The flavors don't come out. So you need to throw in all these effects and make it sound nice. Then what I would do is I would mix it to hear the full display. Now mixing takes a lot of practice. Mixing is something you develop over years. It's something your ears don't just learn how to do. You develop mixing. You can't just sit there and learn it. You can't like take a class and learn how to mix. You can learn what to do to mix, but you'll have no idea why you're mixing or what you're doing to mix until your ears actually understand what they're trying to listen to. So I would mix it, and then I'd slap a master on it, listen to it everywhere, show some people, ask them the question, does this song do anything for you? Give me some feedback. And find the really honest people that would tell you the song sucks if it sucks, or the song is good if it's good. And you can move on with your life from there. So there you go, guys. This is the house track from scratch. And I completed it all in this however long, about an hour. So if you were able to take something from this, go ahead, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Go follow my Instagram at AlexRomeSound. I would appreciate that as well. I got a new song on SoundCloud called Hearts on Fire. I'd appreciate if you went and listened to this. Stay tuned for some more awesome stuff.